Hey guys, welcome to the ranch where you got a millennial kicking it in the country, doing things for the first time, often unconventionally. So follow along, learn with us. And today, try not to almost die like I did on the Rokon. We properly spilled that thing. Sam and I went riding. He was riding his YZ 250. It's a two-stroke 250cc Yamaha dirt bike. And I was rocking on with the Rokon until I hit a giant log buried in almost as tall grass. Wasn't very smart. So we'll show you the footage, and just was an awesome time riding in Genoa and up in the hills, all back in through there. And then thankfully rode home with, well, we'll show you how the Rokon managed. All right, so in this video, I'll do a bit of talking from behind the camera, a little bit of commentary while we're riding, talk about some of the differences, primarily on the Rokon, but I have ridden the YZ 250 last time I was out, so we'll do that and enjoy the 360 camera. We'll talk a bit more about that later on as well. I'll conclude after my crash, which is coming towards the end. I'll conclude with some final thoughts on the bikes as well. Okay, so Sam and I are off, and the Rokon is no speed demon, and Sam's behind me, so he's having some fun. He's practicing his wheelies. It's interesting to ride these things side by side because they are so different. Yet you'll see later here, like Sam goes crazy places with the YZ 250. It's a 252 stroke, so it's got tons of jam, and it can rip up all and down the hills. But the Rokon it's a workhorse. I didn't do it in this video, but I came back and did it later. I went up some pretty gnarly trails where I'm kind of just finding my way as I'm going, literally almost straight up a really tight incline and weaving around through the trees and through a bush, and I'm quite sure what Sam found over there, but he gets stuck here for a hot second. And I realize I'm still actually in first gear, so I pop it out into second, which you use a little knob on the side there. There's 5 positions. There's third, neutral, second, neutral, first, and you kind of just have to shift in between. Kind of sometimes got to rock the bike back and forth a little bit while you're shifting between the gears so you can find them. And it's not the most sexy situation, but it does work. So here we are in second, and we'll be cruising a little faster here shortly. There we go. Now, it's common to hear people say that the Rokons are underpowered, and I would agree. I would agree. They do feel underpowered. When I'm in second gear and I hit a hill, which I did in some of those cases there, it does slow down a little bit, and not super thrilled about that, but it is what it is. I've talked to the dealer for Western Canada, and he's actually said that what they run, because they're all times up in the hills, or in the mountains rather, and they get to pretty high elevations, and they want something that you can adjust for the thinner air up there. So they went to NR Racing apparently, and they have an aftermarket carb kit that I guess works really well on these bikes. These bikes are incredibly fuel efficient, and honestly quite quiet too. They're quite quiet to run. But apparently these NR carbs make quite a bit of difference, and then they've also got an adjustable air screw, so you can dial them in to give yourself a little bit more flexibility when changing altitude. And I'm only between 200 feet from the top and the bottom of the hills here. It's not crazy, and I'm a relatively lower elevation here, so nothing crazy, but it is pretty cool to do. All right, now we're entering into our furthest south big meadow here. And this is when we're starting to get into some more hills here. We'll do some climbs. Sam disappears over the horizon here shortly and comes back to tell us about it. And yeah, but then we start climbing. We get to the top of the hills just shortly after here. The Rokon is also pretty bumpy. We'll talk about that in a bit here.
I didn't realize it was on a woo! I landed halfway down the other side of the hill. Oh man, I'm not doing that again.
That's alright.
I let off at the last second to hop the top and land on the flat, and there was no flat, I just kept going down.
Okay, we're at the top of the hill now. That was a decent struggle to get up there. I believe I dropped it back in the first for that part. I thought I did. I do stop here right away and adjust it back in a second again because I'm at the top now. I'm only going to be going down, so get my speed back. But the Rokon, it's also pretty bumpy up here, and you can see it. So you're looking through the lens of a new Insta360 X5 360 camera, which is very cool. It records in 360, and well, I don't know how to actually upload 360 footage to YouTube. Post, when I go to edit it, I can actually, you know, I'm in the 360 little globe, and I can look around and basically choose what the video is. So I got it stuck out on a selfie stick, kind of outside the side of the bike, and that's how you can see me riding in real time. And it's a fun little setup. I'll definitely be revisiting a lot of the quad rides and trail rides with this. It's really cool. But the Rokon is bumpy. There's no rear suspension. There's a bit of suspension built into the rear seat. And then at front, there's that one shock on the front there. And otherwise, you would be relying on the balloon tires being aired down, which they're not. I have them aired up quite a bit. I was trying to do a top speed run with the bike. So I had them aired up to, I don't know, 8 or 9 PSI. And for what I'm doing here, they probably should be like 3 PSI. But it's not near the suspension that YZ has. Like, YZ's soaking up everything. I came through a couple weeks ago with Sam riding the YZ as well, mine, and it was a blast. It was super fun. Intimidating again because it's a big bike, lots of power, and again, I'm not used to that. And with that, you've got the added stress of, you've got a he's wheelie king. You got the added stress of shifting and clutch work and stuff, because that's a manual transmission 5-speed, whereas the Rokon, you set it in a gear and you just go. You have to pick your gear, and it's not the most convenient thing to change the gear after the fact, but you can just set it and run it out as much as you can. So first gear is 1 to 10 mile an hour, Second is like 1 to 20, and third is about 1 to 30 or 35 or thereabouts. So I'm not having my bike get up to speed. I'm not quite sure why that is, but I'm topping out going slightly downhill with aired up tires on gravel, and I maxed out. I think I hit 40 kilometers an hour, and it should do 35 miles an hour or about 50 kilometers an hour. I just haven't gotten there yet, so we'll see. But I am expecting a little more power out of this thing than what I'm getting, and some of that could be the carb. I haven't dug into it yet, so. So pretty steep side hill here. I would say that I kind of just have to drop a leg there because I almost tipped over. That was my first sketchy moment of the day. Not my last, but man, it's crazy seeing how he rips around on that bike. I'm definitely not as comfortable on two wheels. I'm pretty much a noob. This is my first weekend with the bike. This is my first kind of real trail ride, especially with the pressure of being with somebody else and wanting to keep a decent pace and whatnot. Not to mention the fact that they're a very experienced rider on 250 YZ. Sam is a very experienced rider, so it's a fun bike though, and I've actually been back to the spot now, and I've been practicing more on the side hills and banking with the bike, and it's getting better. It's fun. So again, the fact that it can climb, it can kind of just go over anywhere. You sit fairly low, so as long as you can kind of duck waddle if you need to, you can get over some pretty serious terrain. And there I kind of, again, went over something a little janky. There was a sudden drop off, and the bike handled it well. The bike handled it really well. Actually, if you look at my cell phone right now, I've got the speedometer app open, and you can kind of see what speed I'm going. Now, that's the app I used to record my top speed run as well. I'm not 100% sure that it's accurate. I am in the hills. GPS could be off a little bit. I'd probably be better going up top to the grid roads and finding a nice open section and then giving her a go. Because maybe I'm going faster than I think I am, but at any rate, I'm in second gear, kind of relatively level terrain, up and down a little bit, and I'm, a bit slower now, but I was holding a little over 20 kilometers an hour there for a bit. And this is a fun little trail that just kind of goes between two of our meadow sections, the North Meadow and our South Meadow. It's kind of this little in-between spot, which is very soon, right in here, we're going to have a railroad crossing. I'll be able to get into so we're in the bottom 60 or the back 60, but we'll get into the bottom 40 at that point. That'll be really nice. That could be as early as this fall as well, which would be great.
exciting.
It looks like you're recording, so.
Yep. Good as new.
Nice. And you're good too?
Yeah, I'm good.
Right on.
I fell out of the way.
You decided to bail?
Yep. Whew.
Alrighty kids, and that is why you wear a helmet. I got pretty lucky there. So did the Rokon. There was like no damage to it, other than I bent a, you'll see later that I bent a little tool rack. That I can bend back, no problem. But I hit a log, and I should have known it was there. I should be keeping these trails a little more clean, but there was a log in the ground, and I ran right into it. If I had been a little more confident, I probably could have went right over top of it, but you know, new rider, and I unfortunately stalled, and dumped the bike. Thankfully, I got dumped faster, and I just flew right off of it. And even the Rokon itself had a pretty soft landing. It definitely felt more intense in the moment when I looked at the camera from as many angles as I could later. I'll show you a few more at the end here, a few more views of the crash, but it does seem a little bit more mild when you look at it on camera. But again, very thankful everything went well, and the bike was all good. And yeah, I also crashed the YZ 250 the first time we had it out. Same thing, hit a hidden piece of brush, so I clearly have not learned my lesson yet. But anyways, that's why I'm out riding. Get better every time and learn more stuff, and keep bringing more cool stuff for you guys to see.
There's a log there.
All right, in conclusion, I get into the shop here. I just give the bike a once over to make sure it's all good. It is, because it's built like a freaking tank. Yet it's still so easy to drive. The 2x2 mechanism works great. You don't power through things like you do with the motorbike. You crawl through them. It just wants to go, and it's still very fun in its own right. Totally different from the dirt bike, but still, oh man, I'm glad it's here.
Now that's some content. Oh, didn't I? Just a reminder, gotta clean out the deadfall.
Right. The tree's been there for a while. And now it's raining. Nice. As you can see, barely a scratch on the Rokon. The one peg is it's got a little bite in there. Didn't even scratch the side casing. And apart from that tool holder that's bent, that I can bend back, no big deal. She fared fantastic. So, thrilled, very thrilled. Unfortunately, it took a lot more damage when it came out here and the kickstand failed and it fell on itself. That was much worse. Anyways, that was fun. Practice safe riding. I'm glad I had a helmet. I don't always wear a helmet when I'm just ripping around the yard or doing the odd little thing, but if I'm out riding proper riding, and not on a groomed trail, I will have a helmet on like I did today, and I'm glad. So, there you go. Remember, the ranch life is the life. Stay tuned for more fun adventures with the millennial kicking it in the country.